Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh boy, it is all hit the fan today. There's a lot going on here, and I'm going to tell you guys right out the box, CANDACE Owens was right. I'm going to go through this in regards to these Charlie Kirk texts that she dropped yesterday. And we have a confirmation that not only are they are they right, but that the context in which she presented them is also accurate. And this comes from Turning Point USA themselves. So we've got verification that CANDACE Owens was right on these text messages between her and Charlie Kirk from Turning Point USA. So we're going to go through this and talk about it and what it means and what it doesn't mean and where we stand with all of this, and take your calls. If you're watching live, you're always welcome to call me when I'm in the studio. The number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're watching on the live screen, if you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, you're going to want to go to my main live stream. That's where I'm going to show the audio and the video, okay? And you'll be able to see and hear it over there. The link to my main stream's in the description. Okay, so let me play just the clip first, and then I'll get to the longer, extended version. This is CANDACE Owens yesterday.
Take a look. So
now these are the text messages that she shared from Charlie Kirk.
Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, ugh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread.
Okay, so this text message thread was 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And the dislike that many Jews have towards Tucker Carlson is, I don't think you realize how much he's hated. I've had personal appearances where I've had people come up to me and tell me, Brian, stop saying good things about Tucker. He's not good. He's not good. He doesn't support it. I've had that happen more than once. In fact, I had one appearance a few months back that I was at, and a woman came just to tell me that. She told me, I'm here just to tell you this. And she had to wait through a couple of hours of stuff that was going on where I was at before she came up and talked to me. And she talked to me just for a few seconds. So there's a lot of people who are Jews that don't like Tucker Carlson because not just of his positions, but some of the interviews that he's done. And when I first heard this from CANDACE Owens with the text, I thought a couple of things. My first thought is, in this day and age, you can't believe much of anything with AI, right? You know, with AI, anything could be created. So I thought, well, that's one possibility. I don't know. The other possibility I thought might have been this, and then I'll play for you what Turning Point said. And this is why I'm doing this program right now. It's because Turning Point confirmed that all this is real that CANDACE Owens shared. I thought the second thing might have been this. Tucker Carlson is a regular and a big draw at all of the Turning Point events, okay? Big draw. And Charlie Kirk obviously has been, we can see through the text, a lot of pressure to not have Tucker Carlson there for the reasons we've talked about, and you guys know. And I thought it was possible that he might have been texting these things so that he was telling Tucker what Tucker wanted to hear to get him to continue to go to the events and maybe do it for a reduced fee. I don't know what arrangement, none of us know what arrangement Charlie Kirk and Turning Point had with Tucker to speak, but a lot of these people that speak at these events like this are paid, and they're paid very well, and a lot of expense goes to getting them there and putting them up and all of that too, and taking care of them. And I thought, well, maybe it's a negotiating tactic. That's a possibility. And I didn't think that he would have written that in text messages in a true way that he believed, because why would you put something like that in writing? And then today, Turning Point, which I'll get to in a bit, confirmed that it's all real. So here's the text that she went over, and this is a text thread. We don't know who all these people in the thread are. We know who some are. We'll get to that in a bit. But this is the text thread that Candace showed that has been confirmed by Turning Point to be real. And she was even saying yesterday when people were giving her grief, she said, should I release more of the text? So Charlie Kirk wrote, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Someone in the thread wrote, Charlie wrote, Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Now, sadly, Charlie Kirk's not here, okay? So he can't explain this. He can't talk about context, what he meant. We don't know. But leaving the pro-Israel cause does not necessarily mean joining the pro-Palestinian cause. Could be, maybe, but we don't know that for sure, and one doesn't mean the other, right? So anyway, Charlie Kirk, he wrote this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And then someone in the thread wrote back to Charlie Kirk, please don't invite Candace. That might feel good short-term, but it's not good long-term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times. Okay. So, yeah, there's some frustration. I mean, I've talked prior to Charlie Kirk his assassination, I had talked, I'm sure, a couple of times on the show. I've mentioned in passing. On occasion, I would listen to his podcast. On occasion, I did not listen to it regularly. I did, of course, see clips on X and things from time to time, or maybe something on YouTube. But the few times that I listened to entire episodes of his podcast, I could sense that he was stressed for money. When you run an organization that primarily is based on donors, there's a lot of stress with that. It's not easy to raise money, especially at that level, and it doesn't become easier because you're famous, because things becomes more and more overhead. The organization becomes bigger, the overhead becomes larger. And, Charlie Kirk had a nice house, too, that he had to maintain. Did you see his house? It was a mansion, nice. So the financial pressures become greater. They don't get easier as time goes on. And when you're raising that kind of money, when people are giving you literally millions of dollars, we're talking about $2 million for one guy, like in a month, you have to tell people sometimes what they want to hear to get that money for the cause. And I thought that there was some of that. If the text was real, there may be a lot of that going on. So then Andrew, his number two at Turning Point, who's hosts the show most of the time now, he went on the air today on the Charlie Kirk show and confirmed that it's all true. Those text messages are true, and Candace Owens is telling the truth.
But I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to...
Well, this is interesting. So it is authentic. I'll play the rest of it. Don't worry. It is authentic. And he had shared that screen grab. So did somebody he share it with spread it around? There's another thing you have to understand about Turning Point and, right now and what's going on. The way I would, a way to describe what's going on over there now, there's a lot of palace intrigue going on. There's a lot of people vying to keep their jobs. There's a lot of people that are fighting to have influence. There are people that are making moves to not just hang around, but get promoted and increase their role. There's a lot of palace intrigue and drama going on behind the scenes, which is normal in a situation like this. I mean, the king has left the building, right? And so there's a lot of that going on. So who leaked this text thread to Candace Owens? Who knows? Was it him? I don't know. Or was it someone that he gave it to? I don't know. We may never know. But this is a big bonus for Candace Owens. Candace Owens here, she's needed a good win for a while, and this is a pretty big win for Candace Owens. And what I think Candace Owens is vying for is long term. I think she wants to be back at Turning Point. I think she wants to be the front person for Turning Point. But anyway, let's get back to this. So the texts are real. I'll rewind it and we'll start it over here.
But I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. Wow. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friends' trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned.
Okay, so this is interesting. So he's Charlie Kirk's number one guy, Andrew here. So is he the original source blaming Israel for the assassination of Charlie Kirk or Jews? Is that what's being implied here? Yeah. There's more too I just played one clip of Candace Owens for that. I'm going to play a little bit more of Candace Owens coming up about this. Now, I'm going to take some calls. But I want to tell you guys, I want to keep on topic here. I don't want to talk about everything under the sun. I'll be live in the morning, and a lot of things have happened in the news today, and I'll discuss that stuff tomorrow. But I want to keep things on Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, these text messages, and things involving that world, all right? Not other issues like Pam Bondi today and such, okay? Just to let you know in advance. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. If you're in the live chat, the number, of course, is pinned there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian Craig. My name is Brad. I'm calling from Detroit, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
All right. First time caller, long time listener. Been watching your streams for a minute. Never got the chance to call in. I'm kind of happy about this. How you doing today? You all right?
I am always all right.
That's good to hear. That's fantastic to hear. So I have a question for you. Or do you have
I'm telling you. Before I took the calls, I said that I'm going to keep the discussion on it, okay? Because the text messages are right. That's not, in my view. I don't subscribe to this theory that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. I don't buy any of that, okay? I don't see any evidence that the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. I still believe, and I think that even if you don't agree with me right now, if you think about what I'm going to tell you right now, you will agree, okay, that I'm probably right. And that is this. I believe the Never Trumpers killed Charlie Kirk, okay? That's it. I believe that the Never Trumpers killed Charlie Kirk because of the work. It has nothing to do with him leaving support of Israel. I'm not saying that wasn't going to call. If we know the texts are true, I'll play more of it. They'll talk more about it. Okay, but I still believe he was assassinated because he was so successful in turning the youth and the college age generation into MAGA. And he'd been incredibly successful with that. And you can see with all of this intrigue that's going on, this cloud that's over the mystery of his death, these text messages, this talk of donors, all these things that are going on behind the scenes, what are they doing to the movement that he founded? It really is destroying it. There's divisions inside the movement, and most of what is going on with Turning Point are ego exercises and setting the record straight and responding to allegations. You know, like Megyn Kelly, was it last week? She did that event, little week. Wasn't a normal Charlie Kirk style event. It was a little strange. What was the point of that? What was accomplished by that? It's not so slowly. In fact, quite fast it's happening. The entire Charlie Kirk movement is fading away, and it's becoming something else. Now, that doesn't mean they can't get it back on track, but it's not going to get back on track if they spend half of their time responding to allegations. All right, so let's get back to this. This is a Turning Point today on the text.
I wanted to leave nothing unturned, so I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently, but here we are. So one of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but you know, one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care, we're not investigating every lead, we're not looking under every stone, and that somehow we're just like, you know, sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it, and no stone unturned. I mean, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, so it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this.
Yeah.
And you know, I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
That's 1,000% right.
Okay, see what I'm talking about? Here you've got top guys, and they go into some detail. You've got Charlie Kirk's top team. These guys are going to be out. Okay, they're going to be out. They're not going to be around at Turning Point forever. Turning Point, as we know it, is going to be gone. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to go away as an organization. The organization could very well stay in place, but it's never going to be the same. And at some point, some people are going to take over. There is, you know, an organization like this. The reason they assassinated Charlie Kirk is to do what's happening right now, to destroy his movement. And now, you know, a lot of, you know, today, you know, we've got the sad anniversary of the attack on Israel, right? And there's been a lot of divide in the conservative MAGA movement over Israel. And a lot of people, including myself, and the president, obviously, with some of the messaging and things that have leaked out of the White House lately, are tired of Netanyahu. That Netanyahu is dragging this out, that Netanyahu is turning this war into Israel's Vietnam. I support Israel, but Netanyahu has been dragging this out way too long. He should have resolved this a long time ago. He had public opinion on his side. It is an unusual thing for Israel to have world opinion behind them, and Netanyahu's blown it. They need to wrap this up. But there's a lot of division, even inside the MAGA movement, about support for Israel. You hear a lot of people say that are MAGA people. Some of them are influencers with large audiences who say, well, supporting Israel isn't really America first. I get calls about that almost every day, right? You hear the calls on the show. So there is a divide. And Turning Point is either going to disappear and fall apart. But remember, it takes a lot of money to keep that going. So was Turning Point a personality organization? Was Charlie Kirk Turning Point? And there is no Turning Point without Charlie. Because he was assassinated so young, there's no heir to take over. His wife has taken over as, kind of a figurehead kind of role. I've heard J.D. Vance and Susie Wiles, President Trump's chief of staff, and the president himself, talk in some ways that sounded like they wanted to take over Turning Point USA. I don't know if that's going to happen. It doesn't, I mean, somebody like Stephen Miller could go and take over Turning Point USA, or he may be the chief of staff in the next administration, Stephen Miller. Who knows? But things are not going well for Turning Point. And Turning Point USA is one of the most important conservative organizations that have ever existed, because what Charlie Kirk did at Turning Point USA was do things that people thought were completely impossible. And that is to turn the youth vote into Republicans. And he did it. He did it. No one had even tried that before because it's such a difficult thing. And who else is out there that could take over that role? There aren't that many people. And most of the people that could do it are not available. Now, if it ends up being Candace Owens, because of some of the wackadoodle things and positions that she's taken, it may not be ever possible, and it would forever taint the organization. So let me get back here. Now, again, this group of guys. This was Charlie Kirk's behind-the-scenes entourage, right? And they've confirmed that the Candace Owens text reveal is all true.
And I will say I wasn't an eyewitness. I was not there. I flew to Utah immediately to be with the family and the team, but I was not an eyewitness. So there's that. But I am aware that in my role as spokesman for Turning Point USA, which is another hat I wear, that things I say, I'm cognizant of the fact that things I say could negatively impact an ongoing investigation. All right. But I will weigh in specifically on this.
This is today's show.
This issue of Israel, because I know there's a lot of fascination. And I just want to say that, we have to let free speech be our North Star here. Okay. Charlie was adamantly free speech. And I am not personally going to impugn anybody's character who is asking questions and looking for answers. All right. And I will say that text chain is consistent with public frustrations that he voiced many times. And I know, Blake, you were in the trenches on a lot of this stuff because we were workshopping how we were going to do the tour and what he's going to get asked about Israel, what was he going to say. And this is consistent with things that he told his friends, people that are, in the wider movement, about his wrestle that he was going. And so I just want to say, what is the truth about the way Charlie felt about Israel? Well, it's complicated and it's nuanced, and it was a wrestle that was going on for months, and it's probably somewhere between the BB letter and the text group text.
I don't even think there's a between about it. I think those are entirely consistent with the exact same worldview. Yes. Charlie was not hiding things from people. People are going to try to make you fixate on a particular quote or a particular line.
Correct. Okay. See, these guys are out. I mean, they're not. These guys are not going to make it so far as having a role at Turning Point. And this is, hey, when there's any type of organization, it could be a company, right? And it is personality driven. When that overwhelming movie star personality is gone, the organizations fall apart. I mean, that is normal. This happens all the time. It's unfortunate, though, because this organization is a historic organization that's done the impossible and was just really beginning to hardcore make its move, converting even millions of more young people into conservatives, into MAGA. And we're coming into the midterm elections right after Christmas. It'll be New Year's, and then boom, it's going to be midterm election all year. And we don't have Charlie Kirk or Turning Point out there. We have Turning Point sitting around trying to explain themselves. And then after that's over, we're going to have the presidential election, and we're not going to have Turning Point again. And if Turning Point even still exists in 2 years. All right, back to this. This is today.
To make you think that there was something hidden. There was nothing hidden about Charlie's views on Israel. Like Charlie, I worked with Charlie on every major issue that we talked about, immigration, abortion, the transgender
See, these are like
stuff.
his advisors.
And he thought about the Israel issue a ton, all the time. It was in the news all the time. People cared about it a lot. He cared about it a lot. Just before the shooting happened, I finished reading, this is a 700-page book about the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict. I read this book because Charlie said, Blake, get really well-versed on this so you can help me whenever it comes up and just know stuff off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so, so it sounds to me that Charlie Kirk saw the division that was going on. Among young people hate Israel. Young people as a group are anti-Semitic. That's why Mamdani Zohan's doing so well in New York. He's riding that anti-Semitism wave of the youth. And obviously Charlie Kirk saw that, and since that audience is the audience that he's trying to convert, he was prepping for that and maybe making some types of changes in the way he handled things to try to bring that demo on. This is really, a lot of people won't let me talk in this way because they don't want this to be said. But this is a sad time for the MAGA movement because the importance of what he was doing for the MAGA movement cannot be measured. Outside of President Trump himself, Charlie Kirk was the most important person in the MAGA movement outside of the president. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And he was going to continue to be a kingmaker for decades to come in the MAGA movement for the next MAGA presidents and senators and House members and governors. And that organization is on the verge of collapse over palace intrigue, text threads that Charlie Kirk is not here to explain, that we're only seeing portions of, and there's no context. We don't even know who everybody is in the thread. And it's sad because the conspirators that put this patsy weirdo up to do it, to assassinate him, this is what they did it for, was to stop this organization. And boom, they've done it. You're on the air.
Hey, Mr. Frick, how are you?
All right.
So I called up about a little bit over a week ago about Mark Bray, and you hung up on me.
Yeah.
So now do you know who he is?
I'm not interested in talking to you.
Okay, but do you know?
I'm not interested in talking to you ever. Okay, I've got something else going on here, and I'm not handing the show over to some guy in the audience. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'll play more of this and also some more of Candace Owens. We'll be right back.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right, yeah, make sure you let Mike Lindell know you're supporting the program. Go to mypillow.com and use my promo code Kane at checkout. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
You're
Sorry.
on. Yeah, you're on the air.
I was switching apps.
You're on the air.
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm calling from California.
Mm-hmm.
About what you were saying about TPUSA, I don't think we have to worry about them being, disappearing or going anywhere. I think
they pretty much have
might be
already.
bigger than they ever
It's
were.
already evaporated. They're not a functioning
you think it's
or
evaporated?
they're not a functioning organization right now. They're in turmoil. They're spending most of their time explaining what Charlie said or what somebody else thought. They're not focused on the work and mission of the organization.
Well, that's their fault, but I'm just talking about like the around them hasn't gone away. So I believe that we're still talking about them, right? Even on your stream. These guys are going to be, I think they're going to be as much part of the conversation as like, Ben Shapiro now coming out.
No, Ben Shapiro, you can't trust Ben Shapiro. He's a never Trumper. Never trust Ben Shapiro.
I don't trust him either. But I'm just saying, like, he's a guy that he's been kind of like irrelevant for a while.
He still is.
And now he's somehow. Well, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, like, esoterically, I'd agree. Like, he's not a part of the movement, but he came out of the woodworks, and somehow he still has a career.
He has a career, but what I'm saying is Ben Shapiro is trying to wiggle his way into the MAGA movement. Here's the thing.
I totally agree.
What's going on, and he's a never Trumper. What's going on with Turning Point? Yeah, obviously there's all these chapters around, but they're leaderless. There's no leader, and each chapter is kind of doing their own thing right now. There's no organization, there's no leadership, there's no direction, there's no agenda, and we're coming into these midterms, right? If Charlie Kirk were here, or if there had been an heir that took over, what they would be doing would be endorsing candidates, organizing for candidates, having events for candidates and things. That's not now without any leadership. Who are they going to endorse? Different, we might have a situation now where there's
Okay.
different people from Turning Point endorsing different candidates that are running for the same office.
Well, it's definitely going to go a different way now, but I think with his wife being new head of this company right away,
no,
they at least seem to have some ambition to want to keep.
You know
it
what
going.
it's like? It's like Christianity in this country. How many denominations are there? We all believe, for the most part, in the same thing, Jesus and such. But there's different denominations, and they all have their own things. And a lot of the denominations don't like. I'm Catholic, so a lot of the Protestants don't like us. They think we're do things we don't do, and there's all these divisions. We all believe in Jesus. We all accept Jesus. We all believe in the resurrection. However, we don't get along that well, and we have very different opinions on everything. Right? There's some Christian churches that have lesbian ministers.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm telling you is that Turning Point USA is on the verge of being divided like that nationally. And this is why they killed Charlie Kirk, to destroy his organization, to stop his movement. And sadly, at this point, it looks like they're accomplishing their mission, is what I'm telling you. That's why I'm talking about this today.
Well, no, I feel you. Okay, so maybe they stop TPUSA, and that would be a huge blow. As far as the mission, though, that he had, I mean, luckily his mission wasn't about TPUSA; it was about God and this country. So
no, it was about different.
Right,
it was about multiple things. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. No, it was about different things. So let's get back to this. Is Candace Owens yesterday, and she brought up a lot. And she now that she released these texts, you got to give a lot more credibility to the things she says about what's going on with the personalities around Turning Point USA. I'm not buying into her Israeli Mossad conspiracies and such, but we know that the text message that she dropped yesterday is real. So she does have a source or sources inside Turning Point USA that are giving her accurate information about what's going on, right? We have to agree with that now. So what she says about the inner workings of the personalities and inside Turning Point USA, you got to listen to her now, because it's being confirmed by Turning Point that the texts that she released were accurate, were true.
Was going through some spiritual changes towards the end. Catholics were hoping that he'd take the next step because he was praying the rosary. I never said he converted because he didn't. That would have been dishonest. But people were somehow really angry. Somebody clearly hit the panic button. Suddenly a bunch of videos were being made disputing the narrative. People were going, I knew Charlie and he was truly evangelical to his core. Blah, 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 blah. And I want to tell you this, it felt coordinated. It felt fake. It felt unnecessary. But most importantly, it was untrue. Okay, it wasn't true. And I'm going to share with you some more truth so that you can contextualize it. Charlie was attending Mass weekly.
Okay, now if you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, if you go to my main live stream, you can see and hear all the audio and video that I'm sharing. And there's a link to the main stream in the description of that video.
But most importantly, it was untrue. Okay, it wasn't true. And I'm going to share with you some more truth so that you can contextualize it. Charlie was attending Mass weekly. He was sometimes even attending Mass daily. He was not attending Pastor Rob McCoy's church. As I mentioned before, yes, he was praying the rosary.
See, you know, what's going on here, one of the things, this is amazing. Now, I knew that his wife had grown up Catholic. So this part's not surprising. I'm glad to hear that he was going to Mass. Right after Charlie Kirk's assassination, I was telling you guys, you know, the same people killed Charlie Kirk. That's what I said, the day of. The same people killed Charlie Kirk that killed President Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and shot President Trump and tried to shoot him again. Same people. And I told you that their plan with the assassination of Charlie Kirk was modeled after what they did with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King's civil rights movement fell apart with his assassination. There were self-appointed civil rights leaders running around, but most of them were con men. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton were the most famous, but there were a handful of others over the decades. And the Martin Luther King civil rights movement died with him. And people went out and formed their own thing. Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson had two different organizations. There's a few others. And what we're going to very likely see is a splintering off of people from Turning Point doing their own thing, like the evangelical minister whose church Charlie Kirk was not attending. We now know, right? They confirmed this on the Charlie Kirk show today as well. You know, we're going to see people start their own organizations, and it'll all be done in Charlie's name.
Certainly, it was untrue. Okay, it wasn't true. And I'm going to share with you some more truth so that you can contextualize it. Charlie was attending Mass weekly. He was sometimes even attending Mass daily. He was not attending Pastor Rob McCoy's church. As I mentioned before, yes, he was praying the rosary. Charlie, in fact, was wearing the St. Michael pendant when he died, okay? As has already been publicized, Erica took a Catholic bishop with her to pray over his body on the day that he died.
I did not know
These
that.
are all indisputable facts. And it is also a fact, which was presented by Megyn Kelly, that a few weeks before his death, Erica had a priest come over to pray over them when some witches thought it would be funny, whatever, to put a hex on him. Okay? That's a lot of things that were happening behind the scenes.
Okay, so yeah. So now we know all that is true. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. California, the boomers ruined this generation, ruined this entire country. Your generation sucks ass.
I'm not a boomer.
Well, how old are you?
Well, tell me what a boomer is. You called me a boomer. What is a
People born
boomer?
between 1945 and 1960.
Yep, that's not me.
Well, you look it, buddy.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And also, you're wrong about Charlie Kirk and TPUSA.
Okay.
I don't know what your deal is, but like, There's nothing wrong with Candace Owens. There's nothing wrong with Tucker.
Yeah. There's
people
obviously
that care about their country.
there's obviously something wrong with you though, because you're a very angry person. You're an angry person.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're
I'm
off a
angry
little
at
bit.
boomers, and I'm angry
Why
at
would you
your
be
generation
why would
as
you
well.
be angry?
I called out boomers.
Why would you be angry at boomers who built this country in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s? What have you done?
I can give you one simple answer.
Well, no, what have you done? They built this. They built this country. What did you do? What did you do? What have you done? What have you contributed?
Hart Seller Act, 1965.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Absolutely nothing. He can't even think of something he's contributed himself. You're on the air. What's your name?
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Am I on the air or not?
No,
on the air?
no, you're not on the air. So I want to just play this last clip of Candace, fast forwarding here till she goes over the text messages.
Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, ugh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay?
Oh, she's naming names now. Okay. And she has more text. So, just to sum up here why I'm talking about this, it's really just sad, and I'm sad about the whole thing. Charlie Kirk's life, and you hear some of these liberals that call me, you hear the anger, the rage. What's going on with leftists, younger leftists, like in Portland, Chicago, some of these callers, there's an incoherent anger that they don't even understand. They just know they're angry. I don't know why they're angry. They live in the greatest country in the world with the greatest president you can imagine. But the reason I'm upset about this and sad about it, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Whoever did it, I have my theory, which I shared at the beginning, but Charlie Kirk was assassinated because of this great work he was doing with young people, turning them into conservatives. And that's what he died for. And it's being wiped out right before our eyes in real time, mind you, in real time, in just a few short weeks. Now, I did predict that this would probably happen, but I didn't think it would happen this quick. And, another thing that Turning Point did wasn't just convert young people, but got them to go out and vote on Election Day and in early voting and everything else. They were organizing voting drives, organizing people to make sure they were voting, get them to vote, all those things. That's important. It's, just to have a little event at a school and put on MAGA hats is great, but they got to show up and vote. And Turning Point with Charlie Kirk was getting them out to vote. Do you see this as a functioning organization any longer? You're on the air.
Yeah, Brian, good afternoon. It's Nick out of Baltimore.
Hey, Nick.
I want to agree with you.
Sad day.
Sadly, I think the movement is going to go away.
Yeah, it's practically gone already.
Because I was afraid of that happening, and the thought crossed my mind when it happened. Actually, when the event happened, and that awful day. And you're right. You're absolutely right. All these people are tugging for.
Well,
leadership in
Nick,
that
all
organization.
these people with the palace intrigue, they're playing into the assassination conspirators' hand. This is what they were hoping would happen, and they're helping the assassins with their goal of destroying this movement and organization. Unless somebody like Don Jr. comes in and takes it over, or Stephen Miller or somebody like that, it's done.
Right, I agree with you. The other thing I wanted to add to what you're saying, and I'll get off, and that is, and when you talk about it was the never Trumpers, but it's also the Democrats and the media. All of this evil rhetoric that is being thrown out, and the creation of this atmosphere that we have in this country now. Mm-hmm. It pushed this monster to do what he did.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of a lot of things, but the result is the same. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just adding to it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the MAGA movement's going to continue, and we're going to have other MAGA presidents. But see, Turning Point USA did what the Christian Coalition was never able to do. Actually go out and convert people to turn them into Republicans who weren't. The Christian Coalition, as an example, there have been other groups, but the Christian Coalition were just preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, this actually had power to it, and I think that's what they did. They wanted to stop this movement, and this is really concerning. It really is.
Sad. It's a sad day.
But anyway.
All right, appreciate the call, Nick.
Take care.
All right, you take care too. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Narrator, and I'm calling from Oregon.
Okay.
So I want you to ask me a question about our current political situation, and I will answer it from the perspective of what you would call a leftist.
No. I'm talking about what's going on here. You can comment on what I'm talking about, or we'll not converse.
Well, I haven't been able to hear what you're talking about.
Well, it's on YouTube. You can watch on YouTube. I've been talking for about an hour about what's going on here with Candace Owens and Charlie and everything. So, if you have comments on that, I'm welcome. But if not,
Charlie Kirk. I have comments about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, well, next time watch the show, and then you call in about what I'm talking about. All right, Narrator. Oh my goodness. Psycho or just a narcissist? I don't know. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'm here every day, usually in the mornings and in the afternoons. I do take live calls, and but on this episode, I wanted to focus in on what we're talking about here, which is the issue at hand. I'm not interested in interviewing random people in Oregon with strange names, or talking about the other politics of the day. I'll talk about that stuff tomorrow on the stream. But, I'll end on a high note. This can be corrected. There just needs to be the right person to take over the organization, and someone who has the celebrity and authority to get these big egos in check. All right? Because there's a whole line of egomaniacs who want to be on these Turning Point stages, right? You know who they are. And there's also there's a lot of money involved, and a lot of people want to be involved in that. But we don't have that big personality that has the respect and can wrangle in these overblown egos that we have running around now and out of control people. That's why I say someone like Stephen Miller, someone like Don Jr., Eric Trump, somebody like that. They could come in and get everything under control. But short of that, it's beyond help at this point, unless something changes. The confirmation, when they went on the air on Charlie Kirk's show today and said that these texts were real, that wasn't something that was done lightly. That was something that a lot of thought went into that before they went on the air with that on his national radio show and podcast and all their platforms and everything. That's not something they just did. And it shows you the chaos that's going on behind the scenes. These egos, and I understand, a lot of people have put in a lot of hard work at Turning Point USA. People make their living there too. I get all that, okay? And and survival is a human instinct. But we need someone to come in who can take charge and actually wrangle everyone that works there now, and these big personalities, the Megyn Kellys, the Ben Shapiros, and the Tuckers, and all of those, and get them under control too. And there's not too many people who have the ability to do that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello there, Ron from Titusville.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, I know you're talking about a name that might be able to save Turning Point.
Yep.
And I've got a name for you that crossed my mind. And how about Barron Trump?
Now he's maybe in a couple of years. He's still in college.
Well, Charlie didn't go to college. He was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And, Barron could maybe continue to go to college and take over Turning Point.
Maybe. I mean, we don't really know we haven't seen enough of him to know what he's like.
I know, but that's the name. That's a name that could.
No, you're right. If he has any of his father's personality in him, Barron Trump could take over Turning Point and get it back on track. Absolutely. But is the president and the first lady, would they let him do that? I mean, Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and they shot the president and tried to do it again. So would President Trump and Melania want Barron to be the front man of that organization? My guess would be probably not.
You're right about that. I know you mentioned Don Jr., and I do remember after Charlie died, President Trump was talking about, his son Barron came to him during the election.
Yeah.
And during the campaign, and there was somebody he wanted to meet, and President Trump asked him who it was, and he said Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, no, I think that's I think you got a good pick there. It has to be, the reason it has to be somebody like that, they don't just have to be somebody who's an equal or bigger celebrity than these personalities around. They also have to have the ability to deal with these donors, because Turning Point is really a donor-funded organization. It's not like a regular business. And Barron Trump is a good pick. I don't think the president or first lady would allow that, though. I just don't. I don't think.
Well,
they would,
you're very possibly right about that.
All right, Titusville, Florida. Thanks for the call. All right, take care. All right, we'll take another call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Joe, Brian. Just want to talk about Charlie Kirk and how great, and just the comments and everything. So much that I'm going to dress up like him for Halloween.
Okay, great. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, my name is Donna. I'm calling from West Virginia.
Hey, Donna. What's up?
Well, I just wanted to ask you something, because I've been wondering about this a long time. How do you like being a slave?
A slave?
Yeah, you're a slave.
No, tell me about that.
You're sitting up there. You are talking about reining in people. You repeat everything Trump says. You are bowing down to him. You are loving him even though he's done nothing for you.
Oh, no, he's done a lot for me.
Like what?
Well, I'll tell you.
What has he done for you?
I will tell you some very specific things, okay?
Please do.
Okay. One, financially, he saved me. The Trump tax cuts were about to expire, and luckily he was reelected, made them permanent in the big, beautiful bill, or I would have had to, you want to talk about being a slave, I would have had to give all my money to the government in taxes, so I got those Trump tax cuts made permanent. That's a big save. Saved me money for the rest of my life with that one. He freed me. He freed me from servitude to the government through overtaxation. Yeah,
do you pay state taxes?
Nope, not in Florida. We do not have state income taxes. It's against the Florida law.
You don't have state income tax. Do you have county?
Nope.
You don't pay any taxes on your property.
We have property taxes, and Ron DeSantis, the current governor of Florida, is doing away with property taxes. But our income tax, we have no state. Excuse me, we have no. We have no state income tax, And he made the Trump tax cuts permanent, which is saving me boatloads of money every year for the rest of my life. Thank you he has freed me from slavery to the government, which I was a slave by having to pay them. Oh, yeah. I would have to work months a year to pay them.
Let me explain something.
That's only one example.
So that you will really understand what has happened. If you worked, you paid into Social Security. He's cutting Social Security.
He's not cutting Social Security.
He has
That's not true.
Lost people.
That's not
thousands
true.
and thousands.
That's not
and
true.
Millions of dollars.
That's not true.
From stock market crashes.
No, stock market's doing well. Excuse me.
Than Jack's hat man.
The stock market's fine. He's not cutting Social Security. Another thing President Trump has done is he's done something for all of us. He shut down the drug.
No, he hasn't done a thing for me.
He shut down the drug trafficking into our country, which was poisoning our people.
Is that the reason why they found a cash load of fentanyl?
There's still going to be drugs around, but there aren't as many.
In West Virginia?
There's not as much. He shut down the trafficking from the border, and he's been blowing out the drug traffickers' boats out of the water.
54 pounds of fentanyl.
I didn't say he rid the world of drugs, but he shut down the drug cartels.
He hasn't ridden the United States of drugs.
He has reduced the amount of drugs dramatically. He's ended human slavery that was happening through the illegal immigration. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
He has not.
The southern border, human trafficking is slavery.
Nope. Into every liberal in this country. If we don't do what he says.
What?
If people don't do what he says, he's broken the Constitution. He has stood on it. He stood on the American flag.
Well, you're defying him. You're defying him as he. You are publicly defying him as he come after you.
Oh, I figure he will.
Why would he? It's a free country.
But see, your people are out here saying, "Oh, the Civil War is going to start."
Who are my people?
Your people are
I'm not saying the Civil War is going to start. The Democrats right now, excuse me, you're on hold. The Democrats right now are in open insurrection against the federal government. There's an insurrection going on led by Illinois.
Yeah.
What's so funny?
No, it's just
what's so funny?
Guy down in Florida.
Oh, you're talking.
We ain't paying no taxes. Bullshit.
We don't have state income taxes, lady. Don't have them, and my taxes are lowered.
Okay.
My federal taxes are lower.
Where are you getting your money from?
I work.
Where are you getting your money from?
I work.
You work.
Yes.
You work and you pay no taxes.
I didn't say that.
So why are they
no, I didn't say that.
Crying?
He reduced.
Why
listen.
Are they crying
listen for a second.
California,
listen for a second. He
Illinois,
lowered. He lowered federal income taxes. I pay federal income taxes. Yes, he did.
Do you know that the people who get tipped are going to end up paying?
No tax on tips.
Yes,
no tax on tips.
Read the bill.
No tax on tips.
Read the bill. Stop.
No tax on tips.
Repeating what some other nimnut is saying.
No tax on tips.
You are not. Your state is going to crumble.
No, there's no
because
tax on.
There are
no. You don't pay
money.
taxes on tips.
They are not going to get federal money from.
All right, I appreciate the call. Now she's at the point she was. There's no tax on tips. Oh my goodness, and she's got her husband, her son, back there in the background telling her what to say. Oh my goodness, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Madison calling from California. How are you today?
Hey, Madison. Doing all right.
Great. I wanted to call. I believe I agree with you 100% that TPUSA is going to die.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it died the day that this has happened. It's kind of like the story when somebody's dad has a family-owned business for years, and he passes away, and then they leave it to the kids, and the kids destroy it. It's kind of one of those scenarios.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and
it's not. And a year from now, it's going to be completely different. I'm glad that he left all the material and we got to experience him. But there's no way that they're ever going to replace everything that he created.
No, and it's being destroyed every single day. Every single day it's being
Yeah,
destroyed.
it just seems to me like they're just all about the money.
See, this
It's
is
all about the money.
this is the thing, okay? And this is what's upsetting. When Charlie was alive, I was critical of him from time to time. He was not Jesus, okay? But with that being said, I always acknowledge the great work he did, always. With what they're doing, and it's those three guys that are hosting the show, it's Candace Owens, it's all of them. They are working towards the end goal of those behind the assassination, to destroy his movement. And it's worked. Right. And they're helping them. And they're so, and some of these people are ego, right? Like Megyn Kelly and some of these, they're all rich, but it's ego. And the regular people at Turning Point, it's how they make their living, and I understand they're worried about that and everything else. But it's just a sad day.
I don't even see those people carrying the torch. They just don't have it. I wanted to make two things. I find it odd the way that TPUSA is responding to Candace. Like, they haven't even come out and really said anything about what she's been saying, but they did acknowledge the text messages. Yeah. And then the other point I wanted to make, I still find it odd that we do not know his burial place.
I didn't even know that. I did not even know that.
Yeah, we don't know where he's buried.
I did not know that. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, how odd? Isn't that kind of odd?
I think it's probably smart. And unless you're going to have guards there 24 hours a day.
They could put him in a big mausoleum type inside
let me tell you, these leftists, if they knew, they would break open the mausoleum and remove the body. They would. These are sick people. These Antifas.
Oh yeah.
No, they got to keep it secret. They got to keep it secret.
Yeah, but I think if Trump does the insurrection, I think we're going to see some justice coming down the road for these people.
I hope so. All right, appreciate the call.
I do.
All right, take care. Oh. Now, on the show in the morning, I'll talk about Pam Bondi today. I'm not going to talk about Pam Bondi right now. I'll talk about that in the morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Brian? This is George. How's it going?
All right.
Hey, what's up, man? Why are you wearing that hat?
Because I like this hat.
But why? I get that you like it, but why do you like it?
Because of the message that it sends.
And that message being what exactly?
For those that aren't watching, my hat, I'm wearing a Trump 2028 hat.
Okay, I get that, but what is the message that you're trying to?
That I would like President Trump to run again in 2028.
You would like President Trump to run for a third term?
Yes.
Which has never been done.
No, it's been done
in the history.
Franklin Roosevelt was elected 4 times.
Yeah, and what do we do after that? We put in term limits.
Well, then we can take them away. We can take term limits away. If they were put in, they can be removed.
Okay, why?
Because he's the greatest president. He's the greatest president. He's the greatest president we've had. Right now, we have the Democrats we have the Democrats in 3 states: Chicago, Illinois as a whole, Chicago and Illinois as a whole, Oregon and California are in open rebellion against the federal government. There's an insurrection that they're leading against the federal government right now. It's true.
You're insane, man. What open rebellion? The only open rebellion happened was on January 6th, 2020, when you had an army of people that are just like you storm into the Capitol building and attempt to overthrow.
Nobody attempted to overthrow anything. What's going on right now just 2 days ago, over the weekend in Chicago, you had ICE agents attack, Chicago police refusing to respond to ICE agents who were under fire from domestic terrorists. We have the ICE headquarters in Los Angeles and in Portland under regular attack by Antifa, and you have the governors and the mayors in these cities supporting the actions against the federal government. That's an insurrection. Absolutely.
That's not what's going on.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not what's going on.
Yes.
No, hey, listen for a second. Listen for a second. What's happening is you have President Donald Trump, who is instituting martial law, using all of the military to go after a supposed threat to himself.
No, none of that's true.
He does not feel
You're
that
hallucinating.
his authority is recognized.
You are
by anybody else
hallucinating.
unless he is
Over
able
the
to
let me
use
let me
the
okay.
military
Over the
to
weekend.
protect citizens.
No, he's not using the
I want you
military.
to ask me. Wait,
No.
shut up.
No,
Shut up.
no. You're not going to tell me to shut up. Goodbye. I don't mind talking to you, but you're not going to tell me to shut up. And I'm not going to repeat what happened in Chicago again. I've done 2 shows on it already. Keep up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Jose Alvarez.
Mm-hmm. You sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to make a point. When you say Trump, stop the drugs and all that stuff, let me tell you something. The cartels won't be bringing drugs up here if the American people won't love drugs so much.
Okay.
And you cannot say that's not a problem here in this country, and that's
Well, yeah, people sadly get addicted to drugs. Yeah, it's a sad thing. So what are you saying? That we should just not stop?
What I'm trying to say is
What kind of accent is this, by the way? What kind of accent? What kind of accent do you have?
Brother, I am Italian. Okay.
Really? Where are you from? Italy? Where in Italy are you from?
I am from.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. All right. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. All right. You missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice.
This is Chase from Tennessee.
Oh, you just made. All right, Tennessee.
All right, I was just calling to tell you that you need to shut the fuck up.
Okay, well, hey, listen, that's not going to happen. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Anytime I'm in one of the studios, I do take calls, as I'm doing today, and you can hear the unhingedness of the left. Can you imagine what it's like being an ICE agent in Portland? These people I'm talking to, they're the ones on the street in the funny clothes and the Power Ranger costumes out there, throwing things at the ICE office for the last 100 and some odd nights. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. Click that notification bell. And I live stream every day, and I'm always taking live calls, talking about the news of the day. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.